He truly is.
Right.
Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for, what he's done. Sometimes it, didn't work out to his advantage, like leaving Van Halen.
Yeah.
It was lucky for me, but,
Right. How was he with the band? Would he hang with the band or after a show?
Yeah.
He would.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Oh, I probably shouldn't say this, but, I've seen the sun come up with Sir Roth quite a few times.
Okay. All right, that's
and
cool.
we were aided in our pursuit of the AM.
Okay.
All righty then.
If you know what I mean.
Yes, I think we can read between the lines on that one. It's a different kind of truth, as we all say in Van Halen land.
So you guys did, like we said, you did a lot of Van Halen and a few solo songs. One of the solo songs you did do was Yankee Rose. And I noticed that you approached that song more from the Edward Van Halen school than you did the Steve Vai school.
I did?
I thought you did, because when I thought it was a highlight of the show, because when I would hear you play it, I'd be like, so that's what Eddie Van Halen might sound like if he started playing Dave's solo material. Was that on purpose?
I played the notes that Steve played. I guess it might have sounded like Steve playing them. I don't know. I mean, I just fucking, now you're telling me I didn't play it right.
No. That's not what he's saying.
I'm not telling you. No. I'm not telling you played it wrong at all. I'm saying you interpreted it from an Eddie Van Halen school, which I thought was really cool. So
like a really fucking great guitar tone. I'm not a Vai fan. I'll make no bones about that. I mean, I knew Steve. I took some from him out at GIT, open counseling stuff he did out, back in the day when he came down. But I've never been a fan. His tone was always really thin, So maybe, if that's what you're hearing, in the Van Halen stuff, approach, that's probably, my tone was a lot heavier. See,
yeah, that's
Steve
true.
Steve never had a heavy tone at all. I mean, he had, I just want to hug him and say, you can have tone too, Steve.
But listen, Bart, I wanted to ask you, how did things come to a close with Dave?
Well, I don't talk about that.
Oh, no? It was a rough time?
Nah. Well, there was lawyers involved. So,
okay.
Shit like that happens, and it really, the thing that happened at the outset of me and the band really had not much to do with Dave and had a lot to do with other people.
Oh, okay. Have you seen or spoken to Dave since that time?
No.
No, okay.
How about Ed?
No, I spoke to Matt Bruck. I'm doing a documentary on Les Paul, which I'm trying to get picked up right now. And I was trying to get Edward involved, and I'm still trying to get Edward involved. So, I've been in communication with his camp, but not with him in particular. Because, you just don't, the thing is that you just don't. And when guys are that big and it's like trying to get through, his wife, who's the PR chick, and Irving Azoff. These gatekeepers. There's protocol.
So just tell me, how did the idea for the 6 Degrees of Van Halen come about?
My old tour manager, Kieran McClellan.
Right.
He's the guy that scouted me.
Right.
One night when him and Allison Roth came down from House of Roth.
Right.
And so we've been friends ever since then, through the ups and downs and sideways twisty turnies of that whole escapade. And so he's a tour manager. He's an old road dog. He's been in the business forever.
Right.
And I've built a studio in Florida, where I live now, part time. When I'm not on the French Riviera with supermodels, I go down there too.
Right.
So he came down, and I went to see him, and his band he was tour managing at a performing arts center in town there where I live, and he was doing a ABBA tribute band is what it was.
Right.
Because it sold out. It was 3,000 people in there at $60 a head. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? Because I left the tribute thing a long time ago, and like when Atomic Funk started, there were no tribute bands. I didn't even know what a tribute band was. I didn't even know what even to call ourselves.
Right.
Other than idiots. And so I started looking at this band schedule. The Performance Arts Center, not the band, but the bands that were playing at the Performing Arts Center. And I was amazed that, a lot of these people were doing albums to the original artists. Like they do like The Wall or Abbey Road. And they're packing these people in seats, man. It's like a thing now.
Right. Absolutely.
So I started getting itched to play again. I'm like, well, shit, nobody's doing Van Halen.
Right.
I was talking to Karen, and I was like, well, what if we take it further than that? And, we get some of the people that have actually played with members of.
Right.
And that's where the 6 degrees of Van Halen comes in.
Okay.
Like 6 degrees of separation.
Right, sure.
And so, there's a lot of guys out there. I mean, Dave had a lot of solo band members.
Right.
So far for the first incantation.
Right.
Which sounds like a witch's spell or something. I have Jamie Hunting, who a lot of people may not know who Jamie is, but Jamie's played with Roger Daltrey of the Who, and
right.
He's a great bass player. He played on your Filthy Little Mouth and did a subsequent tour
right
on that record.
Okay.
And Ron Wicks, Brett Tuggle from Edom Smile Band.
Right.
Obviously, singers would be a little harder to come by. Paul Sortino from Quiet Riot and Rough Cut. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I know who he is, sure.
Paul's a phenomenal singer. So
yeah.
What we're trying to do is have players that actually played with members of Van Halen.
Sure.
I try to get that Edward guy down at some point, maybe. You've probably heard of him.
Yeah, of course.
I'll even, I want to franchise this thing and replace myself. I don't have to play all the shows. And so I'm trying to go 3 deep on every chair.
Right.
And I garner some interest from other people, and I really can't talk about that anymore and until I have them locked down. Because, some of these guys have bigger bands for playing in schedules and stuff like that.
Right.
But everybody's like, yeah, behind the scenes.
Right.
And because it's just, it's something that everybody would want to do. And that's how I approached it.
Right.
I'm like, well, fuck if I can do that and make some money at it at the same time. Well, hell, that's a winner chicken dinner right there.
Right. And when will it start?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out right now. The biggest problem is getting over the hurdle. And what I've started doing is remaking some of the Van Halen tunes, and Paul's going to sing on them, and I'm doing all the guitar work, and I'm just remaking some for a demo. I'm remaking original Van Halen songs for a demo. And that's weird.
Wow. Well, you think you'll release them on YouTube or something at some point?
Oh, eventually, yeah, it'll be on our website and everything. And our website's up now. It's live. It's classicvanhalenlive.com.
Okay.
classicvanhalenlive.com, ladies
right.
and gentlemen. It's a splash page up there right now. But
okay.
I'm hoping to do a couple of startup gigs in Nashville and Las Vegas around before October gets out. Because right now you catch everybody in the summer touring season. You're not going to get your pick of the litter, and
right.
Guys are busy and stuff like that. And I just came up with the idea,
right.
a few months ago,
right.
And so it's going to take a while to get off the ground. Yeah, I was actually rehearsing some of the songs tonight. I just now I'm chomping at the bit to play, man, because I haven't been out and played live. I was a clinician for Gibson for about 12 years.
Right.
That's kind of a high profile gig, but it's not a live gig. I play with backing tracks, and so I might even go out and do some of this stuff, in preliminaries, some backing tracks by myself, like busking on the beach, like put on some roller skates and go around and play some Van Halen to the bass.
Sure. What kind of set will you do?
We're going to pick an album in its entirety. That's the thematic part of it.
Okay.
Let me run it down top to bottom.
Yeah.
So it's 6 degrees of Van Halen. It's 6 years, 6 strings, and 6 albums that changed the world.
Right.
And 6 degrees of separation from people that played with the original members.
Right.
So that's the 6 degrees of Van Halen.
Right.
It's the first 6 records.
Right.
I know that. And everybody's going to call me on it and say A Different Kind of Truth is the 7th record, and then there's Tokyo.
Right. You talk about the classic period. Yeah.
I'm talking about the first 6 records,
the
ones that matter. Those,
right.
Let's face it. I don't care if you're a Sammy fan or a Van Halen idologist.
Right.
The first 6 records are the ones that matter.
Right.
And they sold, and it sold twice as much as the rest of the catalog.
Sure, of course, yeah.
People don't know that. Van Halen was one of the best-selling bands in America of all time.
Right.
Which is a pretty heady feat. So, the audience is out there for this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was. People used to ask me after I got the Atomic Punch going, they're like, how long do you think this is going to last? I go, till we're dead. Because it's that deep embedded in the DNA of American society and culture, And,
yeah.
It's Dave, he will totally elaborate on that.
Yeah.
I haven't played some of these songs in over 20 years, and so now I'm just getting howdy do reacquaint with them, and it's kind of cool because I'm trying to get deeper into them a little bit more because I got a Kemper profiler now that I'm using, and
right.
I can get the guitar tones a little bit better. I have more control over that, and I have a little more time on the water. And a lot of times when I was doing stuff with the punks and stuff, that stuff was on the fly,
right.
And the same with Dave. Sometimes Dave would give me a song, and I didn't know the whole Van Halen catalog. I'm sitting out to learn the whole entire thing.
Right. Sure.
Which is a monumental task.
Sure. Incredible.
And there's guys out there's guys out there that probably play it already a lot better than me. So and through this, I've discovered I got some new favorite guitar players that that play the Van Halen stuff. Like, I don't know if you know who Jacob Draps is. He's a killer.
Okay.
You know him? Him?
Jacob Draps? No, I haven't. Where's he from?
Jacob Draps. He's Canadian.
Oh,
he's a kid.
Okay.
He's just young. And Pete Thorne.
Right.
I mean, they slay this Van Halen shit. And that guy named Doug Steele. I'm just discovering these players. They really, they do it really great. So it's all cool. It's all about community and stuff like that. And
so tell me, Bart, now that you've announced the idea, what's been the feedback since you put it out there?
It's been super positive. I just got to get all the knuckleheads together in one room. I mean, that's the challenge, I mean, we probably won't rehearse other than maybe, the day before or even at sound check. We'll probably show up and, rehearse a sound check and knock it out, I mean, players have already been there. They're all pros. I mean, if you've been in the Dave Roth band, you can play.
Oh, yeah.
There's no worry about that.
Sure.
So far, I've got along with people on a personal level, but it's going to take a while. I want people, I mean, I've announced it and stuff like that, but I want people to be patient with it because once it gets rolling, though, that's what happens is you start getting it. Is it cool? You like it? You have a good time? You make some money?
Right.
And guys start looking around, I mean, let's face it, tour musicians, I don't care what level you're on, the gig always ends.
Right.
It's just, I mean, the tour always ends. The bands always break up. I mean, that's what happens. That's the nature of the thing. And so we want it to be a place where people can come and, and play when they want to and go 3 or 4, deep on each chair. When I say chair, I mean each position of the band. And, just have a good time, man, and give something special to the fans. And, so, I mean, it's just like trying to do something a little more. I mean, I'm not calling this a tribute band because it is a tribute band, but it's not. I mean, we're not going to dress up like the members or anything like that.
No, of course not. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the people that do. I don't want to say, I don't want to be it's like I'm coming off snooty or anything like that.
No, of course not.
It's that, that, I mean, I was in a tribute band. I mean, I never really, it took the punks, it took them 6 years to get stripes on my guitars.
Right.
I never wanted to do it. I just had hair like Eddie Van Halen. It's just having I fell into the thing.
Right.
So this is something that pays homage to Van Halen and treats the music with respect, and it's played by players that have been there, done that with members of.
Excellent.
So
that's perfect, man. Well, we look forward to that. It sounds like it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, it could be. Actually, I don't think it'll be horrible, but people got to show up. I mean, that's the whole thing. Yeah, we're trying to maybe do something out in Vegas, low key, first couple gigs in Nashville, then maybe move on to LA, and then maybe book some festivals. I mean, it takes about a year for you to really get into the circuit because, I mean, a lot of these PAC, I call them PACs, Performing Arts Centers and festivals, they book a year in advance.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you can't just come up one day and go, hey, I got a great idea, let's go. Oh, no, it doesn't work like that.
Absolutely.
So, but I wanted to go ahead and get it out there and let everybody know about it.
Tell us, what are you up to right now?
All about 6'1" and good looking.
Project-wise.
Oh, project-wise.
Yeah.
Well, there's this little dancer I met the other night. She's a project, and she's going to take some work.
I can imagine.
After I left Dave's band, I was clinician for Gibson Guitar Corporation, where I went out and played clinics for a decade. I mean, I was a media guy there, and I was in R&D, and, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee. So Les Paul was a big part of what I did and stories that I told there. So now I'm doing a documentary on Les Paul called The Untold Story, which is a unique perspective from, I met this guy through my work and through friends. He was a cop that was Les's best friend. I mean, you know who Les Paul is, obviously.
Of course.
Well, he's also the father of multi-track recording. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
That was really his biggest contribution.
Uh-huh.
And so, I dumped about, a ton of money in my own stuff and started filming some of it. And through various assorted friends and connections, I met this cop. And this cop was called, he was a rookie in New Jersey in a town called Mahwah where Les lived.
Right. And
he got a call in 1980 from Les to come plow his driveway. He was snowed in. And so the guy's name is Jimmy Wasaki. Plowed Les's driveway, knocked his mailbox over in the process of it, and didn't tell him and threw the mailbox into the ditch and went up to his door, let him know he was done. And the elderly gentleman said, I'm Les Paul, come on in. So that started a 30-year friendship between the two, between the cop and Les, where he went over his house 3 times a week. And Les told him all his stories, and they became, best friends, and Jimmy actually delivered his eulogy. When Les passed away, they were so close. But beyond that, Les had given him some of his most prized possessions, like, the first 52 gold